Suzuki VOLUSIA VL800, formerly known as the VS800 Suzuki Intruder. 750 was the first year of it. Used to be called a Suzuki Intruder. Back in 85, 86, around there, it was a more slim design. Same old shaft drive V-twin engine. Basically, the newer flavor of this is a repackaged version of the old Suzuki Intruder. Really good bikes. You know, if you're looking for a cruiser, beginner's bike, it's really no frills, no nonsense. There's nothing, too extravagant about it, that's for sure. But it does sit low to the ground. You can get your feet on the ground. So in terms of a beginner's bike, if you want to get into the cruiser market, into the motorcycles, then yeah, it's not a bad choice, because it's a no frills, no nonsense motorcycle. There's not too many electronic buggery going on with it. You can really relegate the expenses, barring a low speed crash, down to consumables: brake pads, fork seals, tires, the usual. It is a shaft drive. This one's a fuel injected 2009. I'm not sure when they went fuel injected, but they did have carbureted models. Be aware that the old carbureted models, they were kind of quirky because they actually had two carburetors, not just one. And what they did was the front carburetor was completely different from the rear carburetor. So when these things start to not age very well and wear out, then good luck trying to fix that. So that's something to look for. Not sure, maybe high mileage models are a bit better than low mileage models, because the low mileage models tend to sit around and rot. This does have a fuel pump on it in the tank. The old Suzuki's VS and 800s, they actually had a little low pressure pump slung on the side of it. Lots of weird bubulous design going on with this. Good bike, good styling, depending on your taste, of course, but this one's got a windshield, it's got some bags on it, it's got kind of an aftermarket seat. The fuse box is under here, got big bubulous covers. A lot of this stuff is just facade, really. It makes the bike look way bigger than it actually is. Plastic, sort of Harley-ish soft tail looking frame on that, but this is actually plastic. When you get right underneath this thing, there's a shaft drive here, and it's got this sort of, not a spindly frame, but it's an adequate frame for sure, but it's not, it's not what you'd think it is. This is a plastic fender, of course, weight savings, as they say, etc., etc. Spoked wheels, 16-inch front and rear, big tires on it. So yeah, good little bike. Should you buy one? I don't know. They're okay. This one's got a stock muffler system on it, so it's nice and quiet. What else can you say about it? I don't know. Standard conventional telescoping forks, headlights, signal lights, handlebars, the usual. But the real selling feature for this, if you're new to motorcycles, is its low seat height. It's not a heavy motorcycle. There's a bunch of little 600s on the market, 750s. There's a 750 Honda Shadow. And the 750 Honda Shadow, that's not a bad bike too, but that is a chain drive. It's about the same weight as the Suzuki. The difference between a Honda Shadow and this thing actually has some snap to it. It has some get up and go. It feels a little, I don't know, spirited. You could do some spirited riding with it, and it feels pretty comfortable. A lot of these cruisers lack, the bad handling of the rear their ugly head fairly quickly. But this one's not bad. I mean, it's not obviously a sport bike sort of affair, but at the same time, it feels a lot better than most budget cruiser options. So I thought I'd do a quick video on it. If you're looking for one of these, shop around. It's got a drum brake on the rear, which, people will say, drum brake, we need a disc brake, but that's not true. If you get a properly set up drum brake, they're excellent actually for street riding. They're easy to replace, they're cheap, the shoes are generally cheaper, and they last a long time. Easy to adjust. You just turn the little knurled knob on the back and adjust it up a little bit, no big deal. But so the problem with the calipers, of course, is, you know, is again, they don't age very well, and the seals dry out, and you get water ingress into the hydroscopic brake fluid, and then you get pitting on the piston, then you can't buy the pistons because they're obsolete and they're discontinued. But the drum is pretty robust. I mean, you're not going dirt biking with this thing, so obviously, well, maybe some people might, but most people won't. So the drum brake is perfectly acceptable for street riding applications. Front disc, one disc on the front, single pot caliper. It's totally fine. Yeah, so good bike. I see a lot of them. I don't really repair them much in terms of anything serious. It's usually consumables. It's tires, brakes, fork seals, batteries, you know, the usual litany of consumable parts. So yeah, if you're looking for one good little bike, VS 750 was first year, 85, and then they had the VL 800, which was the Volusia. They had a Volusia, a Boulevard, and then they had a Suzuki Intruder. The Intruder is my favorite, but I found the tank's a little small. One thing nice about this is it does have quite a large tank, so you can actually do some touring with it, some decent touring, and your rear end's likely to get well sore before you ever need to stop for fuel. So yeah, good little bike, nothing really wrong with it. It has some decent parts. It's a little heavier because it's a reincarnation from the 80s, so yeah, good bike. Nothing really wrong with it. You pick these things up for, I don't know, $3-4 grand. Sometimes even the cheapest $2 grand, you know, depending on the time of year. Going into the fall, of course, are cheaper. That's a great time to buy a motorcycle. But, you know, if you're into the summer months, and you're going to pay a little extra, of course, with the season. So, you know, I hope that helps with the decision if you're looking at one of these. Suzuki VOLUSIA, Boulevard, and the VS Intruder series, VS 800 and the VL 800. Anyways, take care, enjoy, and ride safe out there. Talk to you later. Bye for now.